Back in August of last year, I made a video about the career and life of Jimmy Vasser. In that video, I didn't focus too much on his lone championship in IndyCar. Now, there are reasons for this, ranging from me wanting to keep the video short and concise, to just general laziness on my end. But in a way, I'm kinda glad I didn't talk about it last August, because I think the story of his lone championship in IndyCar really deserved its own video. So today, I'm going to right the wrongs of what I did last August, and finally talk about Jimmy Vasser's 1996 kart championship. Entering Vasser's second year with Target Chip Ganassi, he was off the back of his best season in IndyCar yet. However, as I'll let past me describe, the year still wasn't great. Vasser's occasional moments of brilliance would impress Chip Ganassi, as from 1995 on, Jimmy Vasser would drive the number 12 Chip Ganassi racing car. 1995 would see Jimmy Vasser's best season yet. 4 podiums is fantastic, but a string of 5 DNFs in a row from Surfers Paradise to Indianapolis would ruin the team's season and drop them to 8th in the points. 1996, however, would be a completely different story. Before 1996, the sport of IndyCar was really in tatters, as the Indy Racing League had been formed as a direct competitor to kart, thus beginning the second IndyCar split. In 1996, it was also the only year in American open wheel racing that there were 3 IndyCar series that ran: kart, IRL, and the American IndyCar series, which most of you probably don't remember. However, if I were to go in depth about the split, this video would probably be about an hour long, so instead, let's just get started with the 1996 season. Race number 1 at Homestead, Miami, back when Homestead Miami Speedway was basically a downsized Indianapolis oval. Jimmy qualified 3rd with an average speed of 196.6 miles an hour, alongside Scott Pruitt. The slowest qualifier would be Juan Manuel Fangio II, who qualified at a dismal 177.4 miles an hour. The first start of the season was really indicative of the year to come, with the yellow coming out immediately after the start for Mark Blundell and Roberto Moreno spinning. That would pretty much set the tone for this race, as it was littered with cautions. Paul Tracy dominated the race, leading 83 laps on the day, and would have had a runaway victory if it wasn't for his gearbox losing the will to live on lap 84. This would hand the victory to Jimmy Vasser, who only led 32 laps that day. When kart showed up to Rio for the first time, the looming regret to come from the US 500 ads wasn't the only uncomfortable thing. The weather was too. 89% humidity compounded 98-degree temperatures to get track temperatures on the verge of 150 degrees. That, on an unknown quantity of a racetrack, meant the race was anyone's game. The inaugural Rio 400 would be dominated by inexperience, as rookies like Alex Zanardi and Greg Moore led laps along with sophomores Gil DeFerrin and eventual winner Andre Ribeiro. As for Vasser, he would finish 8th, 1 lap down. A disappointing result, but still not bad, as he was sitting 2nd in the championship, only behind Scott Pruitt by a single point. Over the following months, though, Jimmy would stake a big claim on his championship hopes. Jimmy would absolutely curb stomp the field at Surfers Paradise, starting from the pole, leading all but 5 laps, and taking win number 2 of the year. Long Beach was much different though, with Gil DeFerrin being the man to beat all day, leading 100 laps. However, as soon as he clocked his 100th lap in the lead, he would get a fuel pickup problem and relinquish the lead to Vasser, who would only lead 4 laps on the day, to win number 3 of the year. So at this point, Jimmy Vasser was in the lead of the championship by 23 points, and one thing some critical viewers may be saying was that he was lucky. As lucky as some of his wins may have been, he put himself in the position to pick it up when his competitors had victory snatched from them. Rio has been his worst race so far, and he finished 8th there. He might have had some lucky wins, but he's been militantly consistent so far, and another top 10 at Nazareth would prove just that. For the fact that I want to dedicate a video to this race in the future, we're not going to dwell too much on the inaugural US 500, besides the fact that after causing a pileup before the start, Vasser would end up winning again. With 4 wins under his belt, he had a healthy buffer, but with 10 races left in the year, he wasn't out of the blue either. Throughout the rest of the year, Vasser wouldn't win another race, but he was still consistent. His worst finish of the year came at Portland, where he finished 13th. Meanwhile, his main championship rivals had multiple DNFs over the year. Michael Andretti and Al Unser Jr. were the only guys that could really fight him for the title, and they had 9 DNFs between each other. Vasser getting top 10 after top 10 was what gave him the 1996 championship at season's end. The 4 wins at the beginning of the year certainly helped, but as Michael Andretti's results show from the same year, wins don't mean everything. Although it wasn't flashy or dominant, Jimmy Vasser's first championship deserves to be recognized because he had to fight off some of the best in the history of the sport to get it. Thank you for watching, and have a great afternoon.